My name is Koji Igarashi. I'm the producer, director, and scenario writer for this game. To put it real simply, Castlevania is a 3D action game where you use a whip as a weapon. Similar to Symphony of the Night, there is a lot of exploration elements in this game. However, the biggest difference is that there is no experience points in this game. However, system-wise, the more you explore in the castle, the more items that you're going to find that are going to power you up. The hardware was an easy choice to make. It's the market leader, which of course everyone realizes is the PlayStation 2. So, however, with the PlayStation 2 market, even if we created a great 2D game or a great 3D game, a 2D game is considered not quite as good as a 3D game from the mass market, or how the mass market perceives it. And we didn't want that to happen. Something that we realized with Symphony of the Night, everybody we've talked to said that Symphony of the Night is a great game, and we thought we made a great 2D game. However, the sales didn't reflect what we expected on it. There was another 3D game on the N64 that had the Castlevania name, but like not to call it Castlevania. We didn't want that game to be thought of as a true Castlevania game. So in that, we decided to go with 3D because that's what has mass market appeal, what is popular right now on PlayStation 2, and so in that, it wasn't a hard decision to bring Castlevania to a 3D environment. Well, from just the graphic look, that atmosphere, we realized that Devil May Cry is certainly a competition. However, what we've noticed with a lot of 3D games that it's gone cinematic. A lot of cinematic, trying camera angles and whatnot. However, Castlevania, we're not trying to make a movie game. It's a game that is in a 3D environment, but it is a game. When you actually sit down and play the game, what you're going to notice immediately is that the controls are tight. The controls are responsive, so you're always going to be in control of your movements. The other part of it is the cameras. Since it is a game, it has to be about ease of gameplay. So your camera should never be an obstacle in your gameplay, and so we're taking close attention to make sure that never happens. So those are our two big points when it comes to standing out from the crowd when it comes to 3D games. Well, of course, there's going to be have to get familiarize themselves with the new environment. The reason for that is simply that a 2D gameplay and 3D gameplay are two different things, and you can't apply 2D rules to a 3D game. So they're going to have to learn a new set of rules. An example of that was with the N64 version. The creators of that game tried to take the 2D gameplay and just turn it into a 3D experience, and that was probably the biggest flaw. So in that, we're creating a Castlevania in 3D with a new style of gameplay for that 3D environment, as opposed to trying to apply the old rules. However, that doesn't mean the Castlevania atmosphere is not going to be there. The whip is there, the sub-weapons there, some familiar enemies. It oozes Castlevania. Well, if you look at the timeline, this one happened in the 11th century, and this is supposed to be the first Castlevania. So none of the other guys have come out yet. I'm composing completely new music for this. I'm going to use some of the old tunes and arrange them inside, but for the most part, new music. Well, one of the reasons why I asked her to do this was because this is the first game in the series. So it has to be new music because everything else is based off this music going into the future. So this is why all original tunes. So that's why you can't go backwards in time and use tunes from the future. This is getting a little convoluted. So that was why I gave her instructions that for this one, try to make as much new material as you can. However, if you've listened to the soundtracks over the years, you know that Michiru Yamane makes the Castlevania music, and it has her touch and her feel to it, which is what makes the soundtrack happen. I expect people to be cleared in about 10 hours for the first time. The simple answer is that it's map exploration. It's just like making sure you collect all the items, find all the hidden rooms, and we have to have other things up our sleeve. This is advice that I give when I tell anybody playing action games: don't get hit by the enemies. But to really think about it, there is two attack buttons: a small swift attack and a strong harder attack. And using those buttons, you can create various combinations. So you should experiment with those. I mean, with those two combinations, and actually in today's E3 version, we do have a lot of the combinations unlocked already, but it's something that he's going to build up in the course of the game. So, for example, of one is to do swift attacks and then pull the enemy into you and then throw holy water. The other one is to hit them into the air with a large attack and then follow it with an air juggle. So, I mean, there's a lot of combinations that you can do with just a small and large button. It's just some experimentation on your own. You'll be able to find out a lot of combos, a lot of different moves, and what works against enemies and what doesn't.